Welcome back to Champion News Talk Radio, brought to you by championnews.net, where you could go online and see all of those teachers' salaries and pensions at championnews.net. Today we have Mary Vanek, who championed the District 15 school bond. And during the break, Mary, we were talking about you got all the petition signatures required. Then what happened after that? Now, how many signatures were gotten by the team?
7,508.
Okay. And that was well above your 6,300 required.
Yeah, we would have liked to have had a little bit more, but we sort of ran out of time.
Okay.
So, it was what it was. I actually still had some people drop some off, even, after we had already bound everything, and you couldn't unbind it. You couldn't, take it apart.
Because everything has to be paged.
It has to be bound. We used, it was a stack that was over 6 inches tall of papers, and we had to use these big metal like rivets.
Clasps.
Well, not even clasps. It had to be more permanent than that. Screw in.
Okay.
Yeah, they had to screw. They were like screw in brads or something like that. You have to make sure it's secure. You can't just like wrap it in a shoestring and throw it over the transom.
So everything has to be done. There's a protocol to get all this stuff presented.
Absolutely. Every page has to be numbered. You can't. If you miss a page, it can invalidate the entire petition. So you're very nervous when you walk in there with your shoebox full of signatures, because you don't know if it's going to be perfect, and you figure, well, you were probably going to get a challenge, but we anticipated that we would get a challenge.
Well, you got your 7,500 signatures, and that wasn't good enough?
Well, of course not, because then there's always a mechanism under the law where somebody can challenge your signatures. I mean, you could have forged them all for all they know. And so we anticipated a challenge. We hired an attorney before we even filed our petition. Actually, it was the week that we filed the petition, we started to hear rumblings and rumors that there would be a challenge. So we retained an attorney, and we were ready to go as soon as that challenge hit the district.
Who did the challenge?
Well, initially Matt Flam, who was running I think he was running against Tom Morrison for state rep. He said that he was going to do it, and he sent out
There's a great guy as Tom Morrison.
Tom Morrison's a great guy.
He's really a smart fella, a nice guy, and a reformer.
Yeah.
Good thing you had him on your side.
Oh, we were glad to have everybody on our side we could get, and we had somebody who received an email from Matt Flam saying, "Come on down to the Palatine Democrats headquarters. We're going to review all these petitions." And I'm like, "Oh man!" So
the Democratic
Party
was doing this?
Yeah, so we knew it was coming, so we got an attorney, and we were ready to go. When it came down to it, Matt Flam's name was not on the petition to challenge it, the challenging petition. A couple other people did it instead. I think he realized that in the middle of his election cycle, it would probably be political poison to be too closely associated with it. So he was kind of out of the picture. And then it was just basically us and our attorney against their attorney.
But you know what I find to be confusing? The school is the school thing is a nonpartisan issue. So why would the Democrats challenge something that's not beneficial to the community?
It is
I don't
a
know,
racket.
Carol.
Listen,
because they
quit pretending that it's for the kids.
Because the union donates 97% of their political funds to the Democratic Party. It's that simple, and everybody knows it. So there it is.
That alone corrupts the politics in the whole state for everything that goes on, because that is the immense amount of money that goes into politics to elect the people, the senators and the people in the House. It is the IEA primarily. It's the AFT in Chicago, which is a little less active, but a little bit more crazy. But these people are all after the money. And the people at the top of this thing, particularly the managers of it, the superintendents and the teachers that have been there a long time, they're all tapping this thing out for big bucks. And that's why the school system, through the influence of the teachers union, has already bankrupted the state of Illinois. They've got the pension thing for the teachers, $80 billion in the hole that cannot ever be paid. And that's been done by the teachers union. Year by year, they've been jacking this thing up on pensions, and that's done by increasing the salaries of the people at the top end of education. I don't want to malign the teachers. All of the teachers at the lower end of this thing are what really make the system work at all. It's their own personal integrity, because the system they're in has been entirely debauched by the teachers' unions. They've messed up the management of it up and down the state, and Michael Madigan and the Democrats, they are sucking up all this money from the teachers' union and putting it into political action, not only on the schools, but anything you want to touch down there is flooded with money from the teachers' dues being mismanaged by the teachers' union.
Well, Jack,
So
I just want to
that's
say,
behind what has wrecked the state, and right now we are in bankruptcy because of what the IEA has done. That is your enemy as a taxpayer.
Now, Mary, what were you going to say?
well, I was just going to say, but the unions can't do it by themselves, obviously. They got to have the legislatures who are willing to do
They
their
buy the
bidding and do it.
legislature.
Well, right, exactly. But I'm just saying, of course. So they work hand in glove. And then if we're ever going to change anything, it's just like, on the local level, the school board, if you want to change the way your school board makes decisions, you got to change the people on the school board. And then the same thing with the state legislature.
Well,
you want to change the way decisions are being made, you got to change the people who are making them.
We need to start electing lawmakers with the political will to make some of these changes necessary in Springfield. I want to hear some of solutions when we come back after the break, Mary, please.